um, what we're going to do in those two online sessions. And I encourage you to use the forum for each module, and specifically for module 4, if you have any doubts, any question about the material that you're going to read, the additional resources, you can write it down on the forum, and I will be the one behind the screen replying to you. So welcome, module 4, and I really hope that you enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Selena. Thank you very much for your introduction and for explaining a little what we are going to deal with today. Today, we're going to start with module 4 of the Create Capacity Building course. As you may already know from what you have seen in the course, this module is divided into 4 units. Specifically today, we are going to deal with the themes of the work in artistic field for artists that work with ethnic minorities and people with disabilities. Meanwhile, in the next session, which is in the 8th of January, when we are going to deal with the last 2 units of module 4, so unit 3 and 4, we are going to introduce the method of co-creation in the artistic field, and for inclusiveness, co-creation for inclusiveness, and the work in the artistic field with people that have a migrant background or that are refugees. Today specifically, we're going to have 4 speakers that are going to expand what you have already been introduced to in the first and the second unit of the module 4. So we're going to wait for Curro, Francisco Aikes, to join us. But while before he solves his technical difficulties, I think it could be a great solution, a good solution to also explain everyone how this session is going to be. Because we have had in-person sessions and online sessions, so a little bit mixed. From now on, we're only going to have online sessions, so you don't really have to reach the premises of our organizations to follow the workshops. Moreover, every single, as a lot of you may know, every single session is going to be recorded and available in the platform. So no worries if you miss a session, or if you cannot make it due to conflicts in your schedule. Everything is always going to be available. Moreover, yes, I am going to be the one who introduces our experts today, but Selena is going to be our moderator. So I'm also going to ask all of the experts that are present today to respect the time slots that they have been given, in order not to take any time off our speakers today. So I think Curro was not.
I think it's him.
I'm here actually.
Okay.
Can you?
Perfect.
Okay. Hola, Selene, ¿qué tal?
Sí, ¿qué tal? Hola, Curro. Pues, so just another thing, today Curro will be translated by Marta. Marta is working with me in INCOMA. So.
Hello, everyone.
Yes,
nice to be here.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you very much. So,
Absolutely.
okay, before giving the floor to Curro or Francisco, as I'm gonna give him a little bit a little introduction. He is an academic who is situated between anthropology and the sociology of art. He is currently a lecturer and researcher at the Universidad Pablo de Olavide in Seville, and the Escuela Superior de Música de Catalunya in Barcelona. In turn, he has been developing artistic practice since the 90s in different collectives, within which he develops the art of context. In 2017, he worked for 2 years in Polígono Sur as a cultural manager and a director of several initiatives. One of them was the first edition of the campus Polígono Sur, held in the Factoría Cultural of the City Council of Seville. So thank you very much, Curro, for being here with us today, and I'm going to give you the floor now.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por darme la oportunidad de compartir mis experiencias con ustedes.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences with all of you.
Muchas gracias, Marta.
Un placer.
Bueno, pues voy a contar un poco la experiencia, algunas de las experiencias que tuve en Polígono Sur a continuación.
I would like to share with you some of the experiences that I had in Polígono Sur.
Para empezar, a mí me gustaría compartir con ustedes algunas reflexiones sobre Polígono Sur como gueto de la ciudad de Sevilla.
First of all, I would like to share with all of you some of the reflections that I had in terms of Polígono Sur as a ghetto in the city of Seville.
Como ustedes sabéis, el gueto es una parte de la ciudad, un territorio de la ciudad que está segregado físicamente y simbólicamente de la ciudad.
So, as you know, a ghetto is a territory within a city that is segregated physically and, perdón, ¿has dicho físicamente ahí?
Y simbólicamente.
And symbolically, sorry. It's a part of the city that's been segregated physically and symbolically.
Claro, entonces la teoría del gueto dice, o sea, la definición del gueto sería que es el producto y el resultado de un proyecto de dominación de un grupo no racial por otro.
So the definition of ghetto is that it's a product and the result of a project of domination by an ethno-racial group over another group.
Entonces el sentido que tiene el gueto es separar de la ciudad, de una ciudad idealizada, separar a toda aquella gente que no es capaz de sumarse al ritmo de desarrollo de la ciudad idealizada. ¿Lo puedo repetir si quieres, Marta?
Estoy tomando notas, no te preocupes, gracias. So the sense of the ghetto is to, or the idea of the ghetto, the goal of the ghetto is to separate from an idealized city all the people that are not adding up to the pace and the development of that society.
Entonces, la función del gueto es doble. Por una parte, es controlar y confinar, y por otra parte es protegerse e integrarse.
So the ghetto really has a double function here. One is to control and to confine itself, and the other one is to protect and integrate itself.
Entonces, por supuesto, para el desarrollo de la ciudad de Sevilla, como de cualquier ciudad, es muy importante tener separada a toda aquella gente, a masa pobre de gente, que no puede adaptarse al ritmo de desarrollo de la ciudad.
So it's very important in the city of Seville or in any other city to separate those poor people who are not able to adapt to the development of the city.
Entonces, hay muchos autores que trabajan sobre estos temas. El más reconocido internacionalmente es Joy Wakan.
So there are many authors that are working on these topics internationally. The most acknowledged one is Lloyd Wakan.
Joy Wakan es un sociólogo francés que ha demostrado que hay un beneficio moral en el papel simbólico que tiene el gueto.
So Wakan is a French sociologist who proved the moral benefits in the symbolic role of the ghetto.
Porque él insiste en que el gueto tiene una función, o sea, digamos, una separación física, pero también como digo, un beneficio moral, anti-ejemplar.
So he insists of the physical separation of the ghetto having a moral benefit. Con anti-ejemplar, perdona, no estoy muy segura de que si puedes darme un sinónimo.
Anti-ejemplar sería un ejemplo negativo.
One can insist of the physical separation having a moral benefit that goes against the positive example.
Entonces, el miedo que tiene todo gobierno de cualquier ciudad del mundo es que el gueto, o sea, las personas del gueto abandonen el gueto y caminen hacia el centro de la ciudad.
So the fear of the governments of any city globally is that people in the ghetto abandon the ghetto and walk towards the city.
Esto sería un desastre para la economía y en realidad esto ha ocurrido históricamente y se ha llamado las revueltas del pan. Han ocurrido a lo largo de la historia.
So this would be a disaster for the economy and has happened, however, throughout history, and it's called the Bread Riot.
Entonces, a mí me gustaría que las presentaciones artísticas que voy a hacer ahora, de propuestas artísticas, partieran de este contexto de análisis sociológico que acabo de presentar.
So I would like these artistic presentations that I'm going to share with you now to stem or to start from this context that I just shared with you.
Cuando yo trabajé en la Factoría Cultural durante 2 años, había dentro de la Factoría Cultural, como centro cultural, había una diversidad de iniciativas culturales y artísticas.
So when I worked for the Factoría Cultural for 2 years, there was a diversity of cultural and artistic initiatives.
Muchas de ellas, en muchas de ellas el papel del arte era de digamos, expresión, ¿no? De la intimidad, expresión de los individuos.
So the role of art in many of these initiatives was the expression of intimacy of the individuals.
Otras expresiones artísticas tenían que ver con el arte que entendemos convencionalmente y dialogaban, ¿no? Con la sociedad, dialogaban con el barrio.
Other expressions of art were more related to the dialogues that took place with society and with the neighborhood.
Pero en general, ninguna iniciativa artística dialogaba con la realidad del gueto,
But
que representa Polígono Sur.
None of those initiatives was having dialogues with the ghetto, with what was represented by Polígono Sur. Sorry.
Entonces, la idea del campus Polígono Sur era justamente poner en marcha la iniciativa del arte de contexto, dialogando con la realidad del gueto en Polígono Sur.
So the idea of Polígono Sur was precisely to start an initiative of context art that will have a dialogue with the reality of the ghetto in Polígono Sur.
No sé si presentar las iniciativas artísticas o analizar los discursos alrededor de Polígono Sur.
Not sure whether to present the artistic initiatives or whether to analyze the dialogues around Polígono Sur.
Creo que vamos a analizar primero los discursos en Polígono Sur.
Let's first analyze the speeches in Polígono Sur.
Y ahora voy a compartir pantalla.
And I will be sharing my screen right now.
Vale. Estos serían los discursos. Un poquito. Me gustaría hacerlo grande. Un momento, por favor.
So give me just a minute, please. I'm trying to set up
Bueno,
my screen.
está bien. Entonces, estos son los principales discursos desde Polígono Sur y sobre Polígono Sur.
So these are the main speeches from Polígono Sur and about Polígono Sur.
Son discursos alrededor del gueto de Polígono Sur.
They are speeches around the Polígono Sur ghetto.
El primer discurso, el más común, es un discurso patológico moralista.
So the first speech and the most common one is a pathologetic moralist speech.
Este discurso se desarrolla desde el ámbito de la política y de los medios de comunicación.
It is developed from the sector of politics and communication media.
Hay muchísimos programas de televisión que van a descubrir guetos, van a visitar guetos en diferentes ciudades de España. Uno de los guetos más conocidos... Sí, perdón, Marta.
Sorry, perdona. There are many TV shows that feature in their shows the discoverment of these ghettos. They go around cities, interview, for instance, and they present the ghettos to the world.
Uno de los guetos más famosos en España y en Europa es el gueto de Polígono Sur, en las televisiones, ¿no? Quiero decir.
In one of these TV shows, one of the most famous ghettos in Spain and the world is Polígono Sur.
Y el discurso, desde este punto de vista, es de espectacularización y estigmatización del crimen y de la pobreza.
So the speech around Polígono Sur is one of speculation and stigmatization of crime and poverty.
Desde este punto de vista, los pobres son los responsables de su pobreza a causa de su déficit moral.
So from this point of view, poor people are made responsible for their situation of poverty due to their moral, their lack of morality.
Entonces, como ellos son responsables de su pobreza, el Estado no tiene ninguna responsabilidad.
Therefore, the governments don't have any responsibility since they are the responsibles or the people responsible for their own poverty.
A la gente se la considera parásita.
People are considered parasites.
Γενικά για την αλλαγή, γενικά για όλη την αλλαγή.
Sorry.
Νομίζω ότι όλοι τα ίδια
Sorry,
λένε.
I think Georgia. Sorry, can you all except for the speaker and the translator turn off your audio, because there's the risk of interfering with the session. Thank you. Okay, please, you can keep going.
Gracias. Lo que se busca desde este punto de vista es el escarnio, el escarmiento y el castigo ejemplarizante.
So what's looking for from this perspective is to punishment, to punish these people as an example of behavior.
Se busca una coartada moral para que nada cambie o que cambie en la misma dirección.
So they're looking for a moral excuse to avoid the status quo from changing or to promote a change, but in the same direction.
Y la mirada general es de moralismo sensacionalista.
So the general view is that of like sensational moralism.
Vale, este es un discurso. Ahora, el siguiente discurso es el discurso celebratorio.
So this was the first speech. The second speech is the celebratory speech.
Hay una visión positiva de la población y del barrio hasta la competencia, hasta la autocomplacencia y el triunfalismo.
So there's a positive vision of the neighborhood that goes to the limit of self-sufficiency.
Y hay un orgullo de sentirse el buen salvaje, el ideal rusoniano del buen salvaje.
there's a pride in considering themselves the example of the Bon Sauvage, the good white people, according to Rousseau's perspective.
Ya conocéis la idea del buen salvaje de Rousseau, de la Ilustración en Francia, donde todo hombre nace bueno, todo hombre es bueno por naturaleza.
So you all know the view of the Bon Sauvage that Rousseau presented during the Illustration period in France, where every person is considered a good person.
Ustedes sabéis que el discurso del buen salvaje ha sido aplicado históricamente a los gitanos, que son los principales, son una población mayoritaria dentro de Polígono Sur.
So you know that, excuse me. So you know that this Rousseau Bon Sauvage speech has historically been applied to Roma people, which, as you know already, is the majority of the population in the Polígono Sur.
Es un estereotipo que habla de espontaneidad, de sinceridad, de libertad.
So this stereotype talks about spontaneity, honesty. Perdona, Curro, ¿cuál es la última palabra que has dicho?
Espontaneidad, naturalidad, libertad.
Okay. Freedom, naturality, sincerity, spontaneity. That's a stereotype that is portrayed with this speech.
Y entonces se les reconoce como seres originales y auténticos, contrapuestos a la sociedad burocratizada y corrupta.
So they are portrayed and recognized as people who are genuine, authentic, versus a society that is based on bureaucracy and is corrupted.
Entonces, la visión, este discurso celebratorio, cuando se plantea desde fuera, busca...
So this perdón.
Sí, es que no sé cómo decirte porque este discurso desde fuera busca el exotismo romántico, modelos contraculturales y resilientes al capitalismo. Un poco largo de traducir esto.
So this celebratory speech, when it is provided from the outside, it's seeking for a romantic exotism, and one that is resilient to capitalism.
Y son como ejemplos contraculturales idealizados.
So these are countercultural examples that are idealized.
Cuando este discurso celebratorio parte de los propios vecinos de Polígono Sur,
when this celebratory speech comes from the own neighbors of Polígono Sur,
ellos buscan adaptación, supervivencia, coherencia cognitiva.
They look for adaptations, survival, cognitive consistency.
Convivencia positiva, contrarrestar el estigma social.
They're looking also for a positive co-living and to counteract. ¿Puedes repetir, Curro, perdona, contrarrestar?
El estigma es la imagen social deteriorada.
They're looking for counteract the stigma and the deteriorated social image of these people.
Esta imagen celebratoria está muy presente, especialmente, no solo, pero especialmente en el flamenco de Polígono Sur.
This celebratory view is present not only but mostly in through flamenco in Polígono Sur.
Sería como la última aldea donde el flamenco se preserva primitivo y original.
It would be like the last area where flamenco is presented as original, as genuine.
El siguiente discurso, que creo que es muy interesante, es el discurso apaciguante, dirimiente, que evita el
Si me puedes dar
conflicto,
un sinónimo más, más
Eh,
simplificado de dirimiente, por favor, porque no sabría
evita,
traducirlo.
evita el conflicto, apaciguante
Ah.
que evita el conflicto.
Mhm. So the next speech that we are reviewing here, I think it's very interesting, and it's one that avoids conflict.
Es el discurso que practican prácticamente todas las instituciones,
It's the speech that is practiced by mostly all institutions,
excepto la policía, evidentemente,
Mhm. Except for the police, obviously.
I'm sorry, I'm really sorry as a mediator to interrupt, but can we like have the 5 minutes and get closing because we need to switch to the next speaker. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but we need to respect the schedule. Is it
¿cuánto
possible?
tiempo nos queda, Selene?
5 minutos.
Hostia, 5 minutos. Bueno,
Yeah.
pues entonces me
Sorry.
quedan dos discursos y enseñar las obras. Entonces, pum, 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 pum. Vale. Este discurso busca la convivencia positiva, espacios de encuentro, resolución de conflictos puntuales.
So this speech is looking for a positive life together, to create spaces where people can come together and solve conflicts.
Es una imagen pública favorable, una representación pública institucional favorable.
It's a public institutional view that is positive.
Busca la normalización y la integración en el barrio.
Mhm. It seeks normalization and integration in the neighborhood.
Quiere mantener los cientos de puestos de trabajo de la industria de la asistencia social en el barrio.
Mhm. And is looking to continue the hundreds of working roles in the industry of social assistance in the neighborhood.
La filosofía es que todo cambie para que nada cambie.
Mhm. Philosophy is everything should change so that nothing changes.
Y el último discurso es el discurso que tiene que ver con el enfoque sobre el gueto que he presentado inicialmente.
Mhm. So the last speech is one that has to do with the view that I presented in the beginning.
Y la idea sería la justicia social, el cambio social.
And the idea behind of it will be the change and the social change and social justice.
Vale, entonces quiero mostrar un par de trabajos que hice con... A ver, voy a dejar de compartir pantalla. Sí.
So I would like to now show you a couple of works that I did.
Algunos trabajos que hice, uno de ellos era este. Un momentito.
Let me show you in the screen one of the works that I did.
Vale, voy a compartir pantalla ahora. Un momentito.
I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Bear with me.
Vale. Ahí vamos. Welcome to your home. Paraíso Sur. New real estate residence offer. Speaking about the new neighborhood in Polígono Sur, that's, que rompe, voy a decirlo en inglés porque si no es un desastre, que destroza, que anula las barreras físicas que separan Polígono Sur.
¿Puedes repetir lo primero que has dicho en inglés?
Que bueno, es un nuevo barrio, una nueva zona residencial que destruye las barreras que separan tradicionalmente a Polígono Sur.
So this is the exemplification of a new neighborhood that would destroy the physical barriers that separate Polígono Sur.
Hay un soterramiento de la vía del tren, el tren pasa a circular por debajo.
So the railway tracks would now be circulating under the ground.
Por fin, Polígono Sur está conectado con los barrios ricos que hay justo al otro lado del muro.
And finally, Polígono Sur is now connected with the rich neighborhood that are on the other side of the barrier of the wall.
Perdón, Marta, que te he pisado.
¿Perdón?
Que digo que perdona que te había pisado con tu traducción.
Ah, no te preocupes.
Pasando aquí algo.
Perdona, Curro, no sé si te oigo bien.
Vaya. ¿Está pasando algo?
Yes, Kuro, we can see your screen. We can see the video that you're showing about the new neighborhood in Polígono Sur.
Pero el vídeo se interrumpe.
The video seems to be interrupted for some reason.
Thank you. No, I personally saw it, and I think that we saw it. But if possible, maybe you can send it to us so that we can make it available for the participants. Because unfortunately now we are a little bit running late, and we have to introduce the next speaker. So if you would like to say something to perhaps wrap up your intervention.
Sí, vale. Voy a hacerlo así, gracias. Bueno, pues para terminar, decir que nuestra idea desde el campus Polígono Sur fue lanzar una provocación, un fake.
So just to wrap up, our idea from Polígono Sur was to launch provoking action, fake action.
Sí, donde había una inmobiliaria que vendía todo el Polígono Sur para construir una nueva residencia de lujo.
Where there was sorry, perdón un segundo, inmobiliaria.
Sí, real estate agents.
Gracias, que me queda bloqueada. So the fake action was to set up a real estate agent that was going to sell the entire Polígono Sur.
Entonces, las respuestas que hubo a esta, porque desarrollamos una campaña completa para vender Polígono Sur de forma inmobiliaria.
We developed a full campaign to sell Polígono Sur with the real estate agency.
Y las reacciones fueron muy negativas. Mucha gente se enfadó, mucha gente lanzó un discurso crítico.
And the reactions were very negative, and people were very critical about the initiative.
Y ellos se quejaban de que durante años habían sido abandonados completamente y ahora iban a ser expulsados.
So they were complaining that for years they had been completely abandoned, and now they were going to be expelled from the area.
Nuestra idea con este fake era generar por fin un debate sobre la situación real del gueto en la ciudad.
So our idea behind this fake action was to generate that debate around the situation of the ghetto within the city.
Bueno, muchas gracias por vuestra atención y espero que en otra ocasión la tecnología me ayude y pueda completar la presentación. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for the technological problems. Hopefully in the future it will work better and I can be with you at some other time.
Y muchas gracias, Marta, ha sido estupendo.
Gracias a ti, Curro, es un placer.
Venga, chao, chao. Hasta luego.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Curro. Thank you very much for being here with us and for your
Curro.
intervention, which was very interesting and very precious.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Before going on to the next speaker, I would like to tell you that unfortunately for some of our speakers, since they are busy with other things, they will not be able to answer to some questions on the spot. However, if you have any questions, you can ask us in the chat, or via email or in the forum, in the platform, so that we will be able to receive an answer from our experts and we will get back to you with our answer. So if anything is not clear, you can write to us, and or if you just want to like explore more some topics, you can write to us and we will give you an answer. So to start with this, with the second part of this hour, I would like to introduce Laurinas Sakevicius. Laurinas is a professional dance artist, a choreographer, and a teacher. Moreover, he is a cultural manager and producer involved in a number of project developments. Laurina's personal goals as an artist and a performer reflect the ones in the mission of Low Air, which is a dance theater co-founded with creative partner Airida Gudaite. Laurinas aims to empower people through dance, art, and culture in general. So today he's going to be with us. He's one of our instructors and he's going to speak about the themes of the artistic development with ethnic minorities and people with disabilities. So Laurinas, I will give you now the floor.
Okay, thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really nice to listen to the speaker before, and it's nice to see you all. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Actually, I will try to share two of mine and our organization's experiences working with introduced groups of people. They are two very different. So in order to understand our work or my work and the organizational work, so it's, I think, better to have a look at our webpage where we share everything. So to be clear, we are not working like directly only with Roma people or with people with diverse abilities. So it depends on the project. So we are aiming to work for inclusiveness as an organization and to have a dance as a platform for all kind of people to be involved in society, in creative practices, and to gain from that something. So those two projects, which I will talk about a bit, were not only working with partners from other organizations. So it's a nice now combination would be to talk about Roma people, because I've been also in Poligono Sur visiting that ghetto, as we heard that word, and it was really nice experience to be there and to have something in common with what we had in Lithuania, also in Vilnius. In Vilnius, Roma people and population is, I wouldn't say like it's big, but we have some Roma people located in Lithuania, and it was kind of an issue for municipality of Vilnius, capital of the city, how to include them into the society, because they actually were living somewhere similar to Seville, to Poligono Sur. We had also area with self-built shelters. So Roma people living here in Vilnius, not far from the city center, they were living in self-built shelters, and it was really kind of ghetto where no one was going in. So it was really, I wouldn't say like dangerous. It was dangerous, but still it had an I don't know, an image of a dangerous place, even though not all of the Roma people are dangerous whatsoever. So at some point, municipality of Vilnius started thinking how to work towards the inclusiveness, but I would say more how to demolish this place, because it was illegal, because a lot of drug abuse and selling drugs were there, but not only. So this part, and Roma people were stigmatized and were kind of foreseen as those who damage the society or do wrong, and mainly connected with drug abuse and drug distribution. But that wasn't they only think what they were doing. And municipality decided somehow to destroy this part, illegal part where they were living, and somehow to help them to find legal apartments, or to were helping with finding to rent an apartment, etc. There are many discussions whether that was successful or not. But during this kind of process, we collaborated with the cultural center, Kirtimai Cultural Center, which actually based in that area where this population was living back then, because now it's not there. That's what I'm talking about, the past. So it was somehow demolished. Those little houses were taken away, and Roma people were proposed to live somewhere. I'm not sure even where now, but somewhere they're living in Vilnius. And this cultural center approached us in order to find attractive ways to work with Roma kids, Roma children and families, to try to include them into the ordinary daily activities. Since I was working with dance and I'm a breakdancer, b-boy, so it's kind of attractive for young male dancers mainly, but also for girls. And we were organizing dance classes for them in order to where to put their physical activity, because a really energetic community and kids really energetic. So we were organizing dance classes for them, talking to them. And in this case, what was really, I think, beneficiary more than in other cases, because breaking, when you look at the context, how it was born back in 70s in United States, it was also developing in ghettos, and a lot of violence, a lot of gang wars, drug abuse, and other bad stuff was around, and people were looking for an escape, for a positive escape from everything what was wrong around. And as I call it, it's naturally developed prevention form breaking, because it has a lot of symbols in movements which previously were as a physical contact, negative physical contact towards another person, and now it became a dance movement which is like accepted, performed in different kind of scenarios, whether it's in a dance battle or performance. So with this kind of context and knowledge from street culture as a dance street culture, helped me to find the common language with kids, with Roma people. And I feel that it's not only with Roma people, but it helps also with people who live in disadvantaged environments. So also we had several projects working with the juvenile system in prisons, with youth in prisons, and same principles, same contexts, symbols does help to find that to break the barrier, probably at the beginning, at the first, to break the barrier, and to find to share and to show that you understand what you're talking about, that you're not coming from somewhere where is no violence around you, you don't have anything in common with that, someone to teach, someone only to teach how to live. So it's sometimes it's helpful to show the understanding of that environment where usually they are coming from. So using street arts and breakdance in general, breaking helped me to break that barrier and to find to plant the seed for their interest, to be curious, to feel physical in a positive way, how to compete among each other without touching each other, maybe through the movement, because it's really seated in the dance form itself. So battling, finding the competitiveness, positive competitiveness in that. Because when I work with youth from either it's a Roma community or other disadvantaged communities which tend to experience violence or not caring about them, it does help to show this kind of symbols and positive context. And this project, collaborating with the Kirtimai Cultural Center, opened up for us also the understanding that Roma people actually, then the way how can we learn about the culture, their culture, because the most of the problems what we experienced come from not knowing each other, not knowing what to expect, how to behave, what kind of culture and tradition each culture has. So understanding that energy, which is like going over the top, how to work with it in an artistic way, in a physical way, helped me to find the contact with them and to propose some maybe activities for them also, how to deal with their energy, how to look for the ways of solving problem, because we were also through the dance, we were looking for creative ways to solve the problem, how to prove your point, how to be brave enough to step into the circle and to do particular symbolic movement, which might be shame for someone to go out and to feel or to be exposed or to be in the circle when someone is like looking at you, and to get positive feedback after that. Because usually the society, what we had in the mass media, usually like all Roma people, they tend to steal, they sell drugs and nothing else. And another part of the project, like first part was teaching them, introducing them to something from, let's say, Western world cultures. We were organizing dance classes, Roma dance classes with the Roma dancer to introduce the culture for everyone who wanted to join. That was also a really successful part, and people were starting to learn about the culture, about the music tradition, movement tradition. Also, ladies were bringing, not only ladies, but mainly ladies and some men were bringing skirts or particular outfit common for Roma culture. And they were kind of interacting and dancing and experiencing the culture from the other side. That was also important to introduce the culture, the specific of the culture. So simply organizing the situations where two kind of sides can meet in a creative environment with the creative tools helped to break the barrier and to change the stereotypes, common stereotypes in the society. And I'm not talking about maybe our organization, since we are working a lot with different kind of people towards inclusiveness or just producing performances. It did help for others who came to join the workshops to experience that safe environment and the curiosity, the encouragement of curiosity to learn about others, and especially about others who are portrayed in the mass media more on a negative side than on the positive side. And I've read an article from one Roma student, like he was mentioning that we have to find the ways, or to find those how to say, leaders of the society, in this case from Roma people, to work as examples, to be an examples for them that they are capable, first of all, that they're capable, that they're accepted, to be part of to work, to study, to be performers, to and through them encourage the rest of the young folks, particularly to look for this kind of success, for this kind of positivity, to look for employment, that it takes efforts, etc. So basic principles, how to motivate communities, smaller or larger, did help. And now I've checked one of the major organization working with dance, Sare Roma. It's a dance collective, the major organization who organizes dance classes and also performances. So talking about, if you can kind of, I don't know, live or make a business out of it. And the revenue of this organization is nearly 400,000 euro now per year. So it's a large amount of money. So they are, through the creative practices, performances, artistic, concerts, etc. They are living their life, and it's a collective of a lot of people, like a community organization. So it shows also that, and it brings it, especially it shows for the city and for the state that Roma people can bring back a lot, and they does if they are kind of allowed and have those leaders who have the capacity of doing that. So that's shortly about the project and our activities with the Roma population. So yes, and the second artistic project which we recently had as organization is, I will ask to share now my screen, and I will show you some images. Yes, so probably you can see now. Yeah, so it's a project, artistic project, called Lustop. It's actually a dance performance. So I'm looking at it simply as that. And the interesting aspect of this particular project, our collaboration with German partner from Cologne, Silke Z dance company, who works inclusively and intergenerational approach, like for many years now. And the interesting, like from the very beginning when we started working or trying to think about inclusiveness, it felt like it's more about social aspect of that we are somehow doing a social work, and that our colleagues from other collectives also were like looking at us or asking, oh, what a nice, or commending what a nice social project you are doing. But the interesting approach by Silke Z, choreographer, was that working with people with diverse abilities, from her perspective, was it's same. She was doing artistically, she was doing creative work, performances, and some of the performers had one or the other aspects of body or mental disability. So in this particular project, we were even forgetting that we have someone among us who has a disability, person with disability. So in our case was mental. So probably you can already distinguish who has this particular syndrome. So I'm talking about Down syndrome. We had one artist in the cast, performer with Down syndrome. And what was interesting, like from the very beginning, we were working on the performance. Yes, of course, intergenerational. So we had diverse bodies from different kind of backgrounds, different kind of experiences, shapes, and everything. That was the context of the performance. But the whole performance wasn't about inclusiveness. So we were working artistically, and we were even forgetting about that. And we were even trying not to even mention or use it as a prop to get the attraction that, yeah, we were super inclusive in this case. We were doing only artistic performance, and we felt that is the best inclusivity that it can be, forgetting or just creating a performance and everyone has his or her own part. So we were discussing different kind of topics such as lust, whether a person with a particular disability or mental or physical can feel lust, or in general, like is it all right, or person in certain age, is it all right still to feel lust and or to feel lustful, or yeah, sexy, let's say, etc. Because it's topics which are attached more or less to people, let's say normal people with yeah, this kind of context. So we were bringing this kind of situation, visual, aesthetical situations, where we brought diverse bodies into one utopia, as we call. Is it possible to forget your body abilities and just to live your life and yeah, and to experience particular ways of I don't know, artistry. So
Sorry, Laurina.
yes,
We are running out of time. Can you? I'm sorry to be the mediator, but like 3 minutes, is it fine?
yes, yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
So talking about this particular performance, we premiered it in Germany. The cast was 3 Lithuanian dancers and 3 German dancers, 2 choreographers from Lithuania and 1 choreographer from Germany. And what I've experienced, that each of our countries, so each of your countries, has a different context, and it's really it's important to understand it, because what I've gained and learned from this artistic performance, which we are now trying to find ways to tour around the world, the audience and we as artists perceive differently. So in Germany, it was more normal, let's say, and I know that in Lithuania it will be completely different story, because we have less visibility for people with diverse abilities, less visibility with for Roma people, as I spoke, a lot of stereotypes which we have to break and learn how to live with them. So the experience is like that. The artistic practice is what we do, does help to forget. I would say maybe to forget, or to understand that there is nothing to worry about. It's the way of going towards each other. So David is a performer who, now you can see him, he's a performer who performs constantly on stage in different kind of constellations, performances, theatrical, dance, movement, and he like travels the world now and performs with the company. Darius, he's 57 years old. Another example, what kind of bodies it can be on stage, let's say. Dima also. Yeah, so these 2 completely different approaches from our work. One is was more of a directly speaking about inclusiveness through dance practices. One delivering for Roma people, the other one organizing just a situation to present Roma culture. There was one project and this kind of activities, and the other part was more professional production for theaters, festivals, etc., to experience diverse body, diverse ability, and that pedagogical experience, what we're talking about through the creative practices, that what I experienced myself being an artist, a choreographer, who had less experience working with people with diverse abilities, in our case, mental. So I've experienced this through the simple artistic practice, adapting, looking for ways, artistic ways to follow the artistic idea, not to make something to show it more or less inclusiveness. So we're working simply on the artistic practice, which was the most interesting part for myself. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Laurinas, for being here with us and introducing the projects that your organization is currently working on. So before giving the floor to our next speaker of the day, just a few reminders. I'm now sending in the chat a Google form that will allow you to mark your attendance here. And I want to remind you that after this speaker that I'm going to introduce now, we are going to have a break. So we're going now and we are going to have a break later. So thank you very much, Laurinas. I would like to introduce Antonio Quiles. Antonio Quiles is a performer, contemporary dance teacher, and a dance maker who focuses in inclusive dance and community arts. Currently, Antonio is directing a project that is called Mover la mente, pensar el cuerpo, which is consisting in the implementation of activities of contemporary dance in occupational centers in Madrid. And he continues with these artistic projects as a freelancer docent and a choreographer, and under the name of his company Alteraciones Danza Teatro, which is with which he has also directed pieces that have been presented in festivals and scenic spaces in Spain, Ireland, Switzerland, and South Korea. So I am going to give now the floor to Antonio so that he can expand upon what we have talked about during this session. Please, Antonio, and welcome.
Hi, hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the presentation, Marco. Well, it's very nice to be here with all of you and to have the opportunity to speak about what I'm doing and what I am also passionate about. Because it's going to be only 20 minutes, because I believe it's important to have a space for all of us to know each other a little bit. I'm going to try to be very clear and very focused on what I'm going to talk. I have been reading a little bit what you have done, guys, and I think that is impressive. You have a very good CVs, and I think that all of us, we are working in the same field and we have a lot of experience. So I think it's important to also know about you. So I will leave time at the end to talk a little bit about some issues, questions, memories, whatever you wanted to talk. Well, and also I'm going to be focused, this is only 20 minutes, so I'm going to be focused on my personal experience, in my personal background. Because, yeah, I think it's where I can talk about. In my case, theory came after praxis, came from the praxis. I remember that I started to work with inclusive dance, not knowing even what it was 20 years ago. And since then, of course, in 20 years, you start to develop kind of methodology, but it's my own methodology. We will talk about that. It doesn't mean also I have been talking with many colleagues and they have the same issues, we're sharing the same problems, the same things in class and in the creation. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be like the way to do this kind of thing. It's just my way. We will talk about that. So it's not going to be a kind of generalization. Everyone has to find their own way. But I think it could be valuable to speak a little bit about what has been experienced during all these years. Well, as I say already, I have been working with collective at risk of social exclusion through art the last 20 years. With many of them prisoners in Mexican jails, immigrants, kids and teenagers in very economically deprived areas of Mexico City, people with mental illness, but especially people with disabilities, physical, motoric, sensorial, and intellectual disabilities. Inclusive dance, community art, educational dance, I mean, I'm always shifting between these things, was from the beginning a very organic and a natural way of mixing my two personal interests, my two of my bigger life triggers, art and social issues. This approach with these two main interests is also connecting with an important question that I think every artist needs to ask himself. What is art for me? Why I made art? What kind of art I'm interested in? What do I understand it should be the role of art in society? The practice of inclusive art, this thing that we are doing, urges us to position ourselves as individual and as an artist. It's also important, under my experience, how we arrive to the inclusive art. There is always a personal, funny, interesting story behind. I mean, if you ask your colleagues why you are doing what you are doing, it's always something personal, and also there is a story behind. No, that is something also beautiful, because then it's a personal link that for me, as we are going to talk later, is connecting with part of my methodology. Well, first of all, I would like to emphasize something that it can be very obvious, okay? But I think that I have to remark, we have to be absolutely sure and believe 100% that art is a powerful tool for personal change and social transformation. We know it. We have been experiencing it with the groups that we have been working with, and we see the results in this group of people. But still, we have to defend in many situations and with many people. Even if we know it, we have to be able to explain it and be clear on that. Nowadays, little by little, because of the result, and we start to have a history behind, things start to change, but it still is very slow, and still we have to defend ourselves all the time why we are using art and why the art is such a interesting, powerful tool for social and personal transformation. Nazaret Castellano, which is a Spanish neuroscientific, among many others, is working and publishing articles about how movement, breathing, body contact, learning a choreography, singing together, building teamwork, using creativity and self-expressions, I mean, the practice that we are doing with music, theater, scenic art in general, is changing in the chemical composition of the brain, activating part of it, renewing or slowing down the death of neurons, affecting positively the general health, regulating emotion, or improving the skill of communication and empathy, among many other side effects of people who are training in it. Besides this, we all already know that it works for the visibility and the representation in society, and for the creation of equal opportunity and access to art for everyone. So this practice is also a reminder about how democratic society needs an honest reflection of our multicultural and cultural society. So this practice provides, as we know already, more positive and real opportunity and links with the community, sharing as a basic for better and a greater understanding and common goals, which is after all one of the goals of performing arts, to create community and enhance reflection, understanding, and transformation of the surrounding social reality. We know that the art is also working with that. It's creating community, building up community. It's a community practice, because you can do alone. You need minimum a person who is working with you, putting the lights. There has to be one person at least in front of you, being part of the act of communication. So it's a social practice from the beginning. That's why it's also very connecting with the society where it's coming from, and it's also reflecting and transforming in a very direct way. So one more time, we have to be ready and prepared to speak loud about the actual benefits of our practice. This is something that I also many times realize, especially in young people. We are more or less the same age, but many people, especially in scenic art, they are training to be very good as an actor, dancer, but they don't know how to talk about their own practice. And for me, it is important that we know what we are doing. that we can talk about, that we are able to express why we are doing what we are doing. Because if we are not even possible to talk about that, how we are going to try to change and convince people who still don't know anything about that? So that's something that I wanted to share. Also, I'm working through art, because a part that is what we are doing, and is what we do, and where we are artists. I believe art is inclusive by itself, by the own nature, mainly the contemporary art. Art is a necessity and a profoundly democratic manifestation, because occurs in all social groups, regardless of social class, gender, religion, race, or disability. I think that's true. It depends of which technique you focus on, and how was your dance or your art education. It's not the same to have a classical background that a contemporary background. Yeah. But so that's why it's much more easy to use the contemporary dance or the contemporary art as a tool, because the classical and modern techniques are much more close in the shapes, in the use of the body, and external shape. I mean, we know all of that. So the contemporary performing art are, for me, inclusive by nature, plural, because they are plural, they are diverse from the conception, as they are a mix of different disciplines that we don't want it, or they don't want it to define or enclosed. Me personally, I'm coming for a totally contemporary education, very multidisciplinary. My classes and technique is mainly based in improvisation, the scenic present, the awareness in the use of the space and time, the search, control, and enhance of personal movement. I want to break the paradigms of corporal, non-stereotypied, non-normative body, conceptual themes, spatial, relation with the public. So all these things is already in the contemporary art. It's already part of the way that the contemporary art defines itself. And also in the contemporary art, besides that, is a social product of its time and history. And so it's much more easy to work in the interrelation and social transformation of the environment, because maybe in the past, the other kind of art is much more in another sphere. But the contemporary art is working with the material and of our times. It's political, it's social, it's talking about the subjects and the people that we are now living on. So that's also very easy way or link for the transformation. Also, I would like to reflect on the way of talking. We know already perfectly that the way of talking is important for the auto and the social representation. Depending on the country, I have been working in more than 18 countries, and depending on the country, there are different ways to self-refer of this collective. And you have to be aware about it, about how they want to be named, how they want to be called. And then you have to, in every country, know which label they use to call themselves, because this is also important. It's part, as I say, of the auto and social representation, how we want to be shown. Also, when we are talking about inclusive dance or working with this collective, especially the intellectual disability, we can focus on the similarities, either the difference or particularity of working with this. I mean, we can put the focus on the special things, requests, needs that the collective has, but we could also put the focus on a different approach. It's not true that any group of people is unique and always need a special or particular treatment, that not all the persons from a specific collective are the same, that any class has his own specification and needs some kind of pedagogical adaptations, I will be shifting between both of them. Sometimes I'm putting the focus on the special thing. Sometimes I'm just talking like, really, you don't have to be so much effort. Any class that you are in front of, you have to make adaptation. You have to understand where they are coming from. Not one course is totally different from the next year. So it's something that as a pedagogic, as a teacher, we have to have already in our way of working. So sometimes it's true that it's good to talk about things that we need. For instance, we need to have accessible buildings with accessible toilets. That's true. It's something that we have to still reclaim. We have to have maybe people who can talk the deaf language. And we have to have some easy lecture from people who can read properly or they can understand very complicated concepts. All these things I think that we need as a society to implement. But we also can say, this is a group, and this is another group, and this is another group, and every group, regardless wherever, they need adaptation and they have a specification. So I think it's also important that not to make a big issue about that. Also, something that I wanted to say is like, personally, I know labeling at the beginning. I mean, there is no need of knowing, especially in the case of intellectual disability, there is no need of knowing what they have. I mean, pathology, condition, illness, syndrome, wherever, except they want to tell you. That's the way of I was teaching by Adam Benjamin, and I think it's good because then you don't have a crystal ceiling. You are only in front of people, and you will discover the good points and the weak points. But it's true that I need to know if there is a risk of violence, of self-aggression, or danger, as for instance, epilepsy. Or if, because I have been teaching with kids that they didn't say anything, but I ask later if they have been suffering sexual abuse. So I need to know this kind of things in advance. The rest, I prefer not to know, because then I feel that is limiting the relation with the praxis and its own process and results. And in somehow it's also limiting my personal relation to them. So I don't want to know. Well, it's good. Do you understand my English? Are you sleeping? No, good. Good enough.
Oh, everything is good, Antonio.
Good,
Thank
because
you.
I know that the Spanish, we have a very strong accent. So I'm trying to do my most British as possible. Well, so methodology. Yes, I say already a little bit about that. There is not a single valid methodology, a single method, a unique formula, a single way of working with disability or for working with collective at the risk of social exclusion through art. As in all things that they are not mathematical, but social sciences, where living and interrelated human factors are involved, is not simple. There are no rules, no magic fix formula applicable, but issues, way of approach, visions, tools for it. So we do not start from a specific, concrete, and fixed methodology or point. But we are artists, guys. So just as there are no formulas in art to create a 100% sure successfully piece of art, you never know. So it's always like you jump into the unknown in somehow. This is also a beautiful approach, you know, like every process, creative process, is a jump to something new. We don't know what's going to happen. So, as I say before, we have to be open, empathic, but yeah. So, as in an artistic creation, we have to create our personal way according to different personality, point of view, interests, even the groups, of course, no? The group that we have in front. So time by time, step by step, little by little, when we are getting older and we have more and more practical background, we are creating 18 pieces. Of course, we can see that they have a kind of sense where we are repeating, that we are always in somehow, we have our own style, of course, more or less. Of course, nobody invented now anything, but we have our way, but always open enough, because you never know. And that's also beautiful. If not, you are just doing something which is like very repetitive. And I wanted to be open to be surprised also, no? Hi guys. Well, I am in the middle of the class and they was just having a break, and now they are going to work a little bit in the back.
Okay. Yes, Antonio. Yes, I was in fact, I mean, I would like to start saying that your intervention was very, very good, and thank you. And yes, I was about also to ask you if you could perhaps say something final or wrap it up, so
Okay,
that,
because
yes.
I have still like 20 more pages. Maybe it was not very clever. I mean, I didn't say anything. I'm going to say very, very quick then. So about methodology, honesty. It's important that it came from your honest and real interest, connecting with our personality, who we are. We have to know ourselves as an artist and a docent in order to be a good docent. Listen to the group itself. The group also, every group, as I said before, is different, and we have to be open and empathy enough to know what we have in front. Working on diversity of respect and recognition of individuality. So this is very clear, and it's also connecting with the classical background. Sorry, guys, but we don't have to be dogmatic in our way of teaching with technique of or knowledge, because maybe we have been teaching Graham in a specific way that we know is the best way to teach Graham, but this is not going to work with this collective. And they are also not the interest while we are doing this kind of work with these people. Graham could be a tool, and you will find your way to pass through you to this collective, but you have to be very, very open to this individuality and of the group and of the people. Calmness, generosity, patience, listening, togetherness, trusting. Trust, and at the same time, it's much more simple. It's trust in your inner being, in your psychology skills, in your ability to know what is necessary. So trust in yourself. Professionalism, because sometimes I'm teaching or working a lot of people who are coming from the social issues and they want to use the art, but they took 2 weeks of art, of dance classes. Sorry, guys, in 2 weeks, you are not going to teach art. You can have a just start this way, but you need to also to be professionalism in what you are doing. It doesn't mean that you have to be dancing in the Opera de Paris, but at least you have to know what you are talking about. And of course, working a lot also in my piece with the concept of identity. And well, I wanted to say about a little bit about the 4 main issues that Salud pointed: the language deficiencies, the communication difficulties, the attention. But actually, here I'm also thinking that it's happening to all the collective. It's happening in our society. It's something that is happening to all the teenagers or young adults. They don't know how to express basic emotion. They don't know how to communicate. We are, as a society forgetting the body, forgetting the intuition, the instinct. So that's why it's so important to do this kind of work also as a normal education in the education from the school, not normal, I can say in English now, because it's important to have this kind of the body, no, for everyone. And yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the artistic point of view, but we don't have time. I put in the group some my website and 2 or 3 videos that you can see a little bit. It's video trailer of demos of pieces. It's 1.5 minutes, something, 3 of them. So you could feel a little bit what I'm talking about in the other way, in the practice. Yeah, but it's also important to know that there's double objective, like sometimes we are just teaching and we have to be as a docent, and sometimes we are more in an artistic way of create much on the creation, and then is connected, is interrelation, the relation between them, but you have to be clear if with this group is going to be more, maybe at the beginning you need to prepare them, and then later they can be on stage, but like us, they also need time to be trained. It's not like, oh, they are with disability, intellectual disability, so we are already ready to be on stage. No, we have the right to be taught and to have classes of artistic education. Doesn't mean that we have to be the day after on the stage. Well, and finally, I would just say, what is inclusion and how should be done? This question keep us attentive to what kind of society we want. So we have to be always asking ourselves, what is inclusion and how should be done? It's going to be shifting, I hope so. And always we have to be in this question mark, because then it will keep us alive and in alert how we include to the other, to all of us. This is like democracy, a constant negotiation between rights and obligation, between our individual freedom and living in community. And all of this is to create a state, a country, a world that works for the social welfare of everyone.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Thank you very, very much. Your intervention was precious today. So as I said for other speakers, that I think that Antonio has to go, but if you have any other questions, you can write to us. So
no, I mean, they are just there. Okay. Hello, guys. Say hello. Ay, decir hola. Well, they are just working there. I could say a little bit longer if we have time for questions. I don't know.
Unfortunately, since we started a little bit late, we have the last 20 minutes. And we would have to give the floor to Hilo Rojo.
Okay.
I would also like to ask both to Hilo Rojo representatives today and our participants if it's okay to skip the break for now and just be here for 20 more minutes, and then we end the session. Because if we have a break now, it means that we will have to postpone a little bit our session and end at 13:10. Is that okay if we skip the break? Okay.
Well, I will say goodbye, but I would like, if everybody agree, yeah, you can pass my mail, and if you have any question, just write to me, and we will be in contact. Because I read you a little bit without no names, just your CV, and I think that you are a really interesting group, and I would like to just have in contact, building up community, and have the opportunity to share knowledge. So
thank you, Antonio. If you can write your email address on the chat, so that everybody can see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If I might interrupt, Antonio, hi. So Hilo Rojo is having some connection problems, so they reconnect. So we can have like few minutes. Julie's here? Okay, perfect.
Okay, I see that she's here, so probably
okay, that's great.
Okay. Yes, okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry, Julia. I have a problem with with electricity in my house because it's gone in all the street of my house, so my PC has a little
No
bit and I have
problem.
to connect by mobile phone. Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem, Julia.
Okay.
So our last speaker, as I was saying, is our representatives of Hilo Rojo Teatro. Hilo Rojo Teatro is an international theater company based in Seville and resident at the International Theater Research Center, Atalaya, TNT. They are an independent company and they believe in theater as a commitment and as an instrument of change for the individual and for the society. The company was founded in 2018 and is formed by Riccardo Benfatto and Giulia Esposito. Riccardo trained in theater at the University of Bologna and later started working in the field of performing arts with people with disabilities and awakened from a coma. Giulia studied, who is here with us also today, studied social education at the University of Rome and theater in Seville. She has experience in managing groups at risk of exclusion, such as people with disabilities and the elderly and the minors. So not to cut any more time off from your intervention, I would like to give the floor to Giulia.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Giulia from Hilo Rojo, as he said. We're an international company and we're here to present Hormiga project. Hormiga means ants. The ants are animals who collaborate between them to live in peace and carry on the work between all of them. So we choose this name because we wanted to create an inclusive theater group with people with and without disabilities. I'm sorry, don't see you anymore. Okay, so Hormiga is this project, and we created this year. This is the first year we are working on it, and when we designed this project, we thought we made some questions to us, and we asked to us what is inclusion, who are we including, and who is including whom, and inclusion, integration, or mediation. Hormiga is a project made with people and not for persons with disability. In this project are involved different kind of people without disabilities, such as students of performing arts and also psychologists and teachers of special needs children, and also people with disability. This is an artistic social project that aims breaking barriers, because we think that theater is the way it's a way, not the only way, to break these barriers, and it's a tool for social change. So we were looking for persons who believed in theater for social change, and also people with disability to work together. We wanted to create a space, a protected space where people can experiment their talents, their potential, and their abilities through theater. And each person work for his or herself, but also for the group, and can experience everything in these two ways, particularly and with the group. This laboratory will end with a performance, and we will work to create materials and to understand what they want to speak about, and we will create materials on it. But I will explain you better it later. Our objectives are breaking barriers is the first, because we think that society, I'm sorry for these sounds, I have a little baby who is ill and she's at home. So we think that society is the subject who puts barriers to the disability persons, both in social field and in physical field, because there are very less, there are few opportunities for people with disabilities, first to make theater and to practice performing arts. We have a person in the group who says, I want to be trained in theater. I really would like it, but I don't find anything to do it. And it's a pity, I think, because everyone should have the same rights. So the first objective is breaking barriers. Then we want to build meaningful relationships between the participants. And we would like that this laboratory could be a safe place where to express their emotions and their abilities and their feelings. And we think that theater is a tool to do it. And also we want to make theater with and not for people with disabilities, because we think that, as I said just before, it's an integrated group. It's not that we are giving classes to. It's an exchange between people with and without disabilities, and they can interchange their knowledge, both physically and cognitive. And making theater with persons is that we are not giving them made product, but we're creating it with them. And we also want to provide an artistic quality training, because of this that I just said before. It's very difficult to find some place which provide a good quality train for people with disability. So our aim is to give everyone quality, and as everyone who wants to study theater can do. And then another aim of our project is to have interchanges with other groups. Riccardo Benfatto, my colleague, founded a group in Bologna in Italy in 2011, and he practiced theater with persons with disabilities and persons who were awaked from coma. And it's called Gli Amici di Luca and Il Magnifico Teatrino Errante. And this is one of the companies we are in contact with, and we would like to have an interchange with them. We also have another contact with a group from Rome, which is called La Compagnia della Mia Misura, and we would like to make some interchanges in the future. And then one of the basic concepts for our project is the actor known actor. We believe that every person has a truth on the stage, and persons with disability cannot erase their signs from their bodies, so they bring them with them on the stage. So they're actors, non-actors, and they show to everyone their truth, their vocal truth, their body truth, and we really would like to highlight this point, because we think that it can be a very good subject of interchange between persons. Normally, the actors, we are always looking for truth on the stage, but persons with disability, as it have it naturally, and we want to protect it and as a worth. So we work on it, and we managed to bring the truth, not just people with disability can bring their truth, but also the people without disability. During the workshop, we noticed that there are many benefits for participants. First, there are two kinds of benefits. One kind of benefits are artistic benefits, like creativity, communication, and the improvement of the language expression. And another part of the benefits are more interior benefits, personal benefits. And we think that both collectives can experience these benefits. We noticed that the group is growing up together, and they are becoming a group, but also that each one enhances his creativity, communication, attention, and this is, we think that it is thanks to the interchange between people with and without disability, and because sometimes I think it makes easier the communication and the relationship. We have to be aware, because sometimes persons without disability try to help and to give knowledge and give rules to people with disabilities, and we are trying to avoid this way of doing. So we try to work together with both groups, and we think that it's going on in a nice way, in a good way. And Ricardo, please, could you pass the slide? Okay, we're working, as I said, building up the group because our workshop has 3 phases. Now, until December, we were working on building up the group, and some people know each other between them, but some not. But they knew each other in another context. So we would like to make the group the theater group. So it's another space and another group because there are other persons inside. So we're building up the group, discovering the necessities of the group, discovering the desires of the group, and what the group, which is the way that the group is choosing as a group. We are working on vocal training, physical training, and with many kinds of exercises. But most of all, we're working physically now to help them to be confident with themselves and also with the group, and to be free to express themselves to the others. The second phase we're going to start on January is the creative process, in which we are going to create materials, vocal, physical, and text materials through many kinds of exercises. And with these materials, we are going to create a performance in the third phase of the project. We're going to make a new dramaturgy, and which is always open to be reviewed. And in the third phase, we're going to perform and to put together all of these materials and to rehearse. The project will end at the beginning of June, and we hope to have we hope we can show it in front of persons, and then make a, maybe, I don't know, if we manage to make this exchange, to make a tour, it would be very, very nice. So this is our project. I don't know if you have any questions or I don't know, any doubts. This is the group.
Thank you very much, Julia.
I forgot one thing. The project is made in collaboration with Distra project of Valentin Madariaga Foundation. So we work in their space. This is their space.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Julia, for presenting, and Ricardo for the help with the presentation. And unfortunately, yes, we were running late throughout all the session, and we ran out of time, unfortunately, for today. But as we said, for other speakers, if you have any other questions, you can ask us, or perhaps if Julia wants to leave as well her email address in the chat, so that
Yes.
everybody can reach out to Hilo Rojo in case they need more clarifications on what you're doing, or more info and inspo from your project. But to wrap it up, I would really like to thank all of you for being here. Actually, we are going to see each other again in 2024. So on the 8th of January with the second part of Module 4. I would really like to thank all of you for being present. I would like to thank our speakers who were amazing today, and Selene for helping me with the moderation. I don't know if you want to say something as well. But I really love that I see a lot of engagement with the course. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco, for like the presentation and managing all the video conferences. I just wanted to thank you all, and encourage you to use the forum, because the idea of this course is also create synergies and networking and sharing experiences and the work you have done or the doubts you might have. So please use it not just for Module 4, but for all the modules of the course, and we will be there behind the screen trying to answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. And have
Happy
good
holidays
and a happy winter break. Bye. See you
Good
next
holidays.
year.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.